So welcome everybody to Jen Talks, and today I'll be talking to Samantha Kelly from the Women's Inspire Network, and also known as the Tweeting Goddess. So before I start, just for anybody that hasn't met me before, my name is Jenny Cruz. I'm a life coach and trainer, and I am also running a series of Jen Talks and JenTalks2 during lockdown. And the purpose of these talks are to inspire people, to give them maybe some tips or tools to help them through challenges that they may be going through personally or with their businesses, especially with the new restrictions that people are, I suppose, adapting to deal with. And today I'm going to introduce you to Samantha Kelly, who runs an online women's business network, an online and offline. And I'll let you introduce herself to her what she does and her business. Samantha?
Hi Jenny, it's lovely to be here, and thanks a million for the invitation. And you're looking great, I have to say.
Thanks very much.
I can't wait to go to the hairdresser. But
yeah, I haven't got there yet myself.
It's my name is Samantha Kelly, otherwise known as the Tweeting Goddess. I am a verified Twitter account. I am the author of Little Book of Twitter Magic. I'm also the founder of the Women's Inspire Network, which is, as you say, an online network with a global membership. And I started a business about 10 years ago as a lone parent on social welfare, and slowly but surely have climbed my way out of that space. And it's been pretty bit of a roller coaster ride, and I love where I am now. I'd be quite influential in the digital space, and I love what I do.
And tell us, when I first came across you, I would have known you as a Dragon's Den contestant.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started a business. My first business was Funky Goddess, which was a gift box for girls who came into that awkward milestone of the first period. So that was my first business. It was when my own daughter came to that awkward milestone. I went over to the shops to buy some kind of starter set for her to help her, make her feel special. And oh my God, I couldn't believe there was no beginner sets for girls. So right there and then, in the supermarket aisle, I went, I know, I'll create one. And I just decided to start a business just like that. Now, at the time, my marriage had just broken up. My father had just passed away as well. And my other daughter was about to start mainstream school. And I was hitting 40. So I was kind of in a space where I was kind of wondering what I was going to do next anyway.
Yes.
So it was just, everything was lined up. And maybe my father as well had a little bit to do with it, because he was a bit of an entrepreneur himself. And so I just went for it, even though I hadn't got a penny. And it was just such a taboo topic. And as you can see, I'm not very shy. So I was able to go on the TV. I was on TV, I was on radio. Everybody wanted to talk about this first period gift box. So it was brilliant, So I went to Dragon's Den. And when I went to Dragon's Den, a butterfly landed on the makeup girl's light when she was doing my makeup. And she was like, oh, why is there a butterfly? Yeah, why was there a butterfly here in January? And I said, that's my dad, And of course, then when I went up, he was in my head. And Nora Casey asked me, she said, oh, you've had a tough year, haven't you, like this? And I was like, yes. And then I started crying. So I was the girl that cried on Dragon's Den. So that's really where the whole kind of profile started. People were interested in this businesswoman who actually had feelings and stuff like that. Because people sometimes think of business women or business people as being cold or hard, or stamping on everybody to succeed, and that's not like that at all. All the successful leaders and top people in the world have helped others along the way, have compassion, have empathy, have all of those wonderful things and kindness. And I see that now, but when I was outside of the business space, I wouldn't have thought that that's what you had to do to succeed. Yeah. So for anyone's listening that thinks you have to be a bitch to succeed in business, you don't, not at all. Yeah. It's the opposite, actually. Yeah. So it was very interesting to me, the whole learning, everything I've learned. And, and I know that you help a lot of people, Jenny, and it is important to invest in yourself and invest in learning more and invest in, being the best you can be, whether that's being the best person you can be, or whether that's being the best business person, or learn as much as you can, or the best teacher or the best whatever, if you want to educate yourself more. And these are things I'm beginning to see as I go along. I'm learning, and I'm
Yeah.
learning more and more and more. But, it's so important to invest time
Mm-hmm.
and money as well in
Yeah.
making yourself a better either business person or whatever it is you want to be better at, if you want
Yeah.
to be better at it.
In my own role in mentoring, I often come across that in small businesses starting up, the biggest mistake or the biggest lie they tell themselves is they haven't got the money to spend to, put any money into training or put any money into networking in the business. And, without that, they can't really expand because they're depriving themselves of the supports and the network that they really need to grow.
Yeah. But at the same time, I had no money when I started. So I do
Yeah.
understand. I do
Mm-hmm.
understand that mindset totally. But
Yeah.
also, some people just don't have it.
Yeah.
And, if you are, that's why I started Women's Inspire Network, because it's only 20 a month. So that's like what, 4 coffees, 4 pints, whatever it
Yeah.
is, and I just knew that if I could make it affordable, and so that more people, and attainable for more people, that we could help more people. And then
Absolutely.
as they grow and their business grows, then they have options to invest more when they start making money. But it's about joining the right network as well, and making
Yes.
sure that you have the right people around you, because
Mm-hmm.
there's no point in you even investing your 20 a month if you're not going to get anything out of it. But then I wouldn't create a network where people weren't going to get value. So it's
Absolutely.
about, I do understand that, and I do good deeds every now and then where there might be someone struggling. Like I am on the phone sometimes, and there be people actually crying on the phone, like
Yeah.
lost, but it's only because they didn't get the right support, or they didn't reach the right audience. And, and that's why, sometimes, especially if it's someone I can help, I do try and help people as much as possible. But you don't have a business if you don't have sales. So
Yes.
if you're not getting sales, why is that? So that needs
Yeah.
to be looked at. Like,
Yeah.
do people actually need this product or this service?
Mm-hmm.
And so the best way to find out if people need your product or service is to actually ask people.
Yeah.
I remember when I had Funky Goddess, I actually printed out loads of questionnaires. Like, it's funny, I actually kind of did this all just myself, and
Yeah.
I know training, or I didn't have a business I didn't have any business know-how, but I had marketing know-how, which was funny. So I printed out all these questionnaires, and I brought them to to the sports day for the school. And so I gave them out to the parents, and I said, would you mind filling in this questionnaire? And it was a survey. Would you buy your daughter this gift box? You
Mm-hmm.
know, would this be an issue for you? What is the big, and I asked these questions. So I think I got about 50 responses. And I also had a survey for the girls. So I said, would you like to get one of these gift boxes?
Very good.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I was like, so I was, funny enough, I had that marketing head on me, even though I didn't realize
Mm-hmm.
it. It's funny, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And how did the business grow from the gift boxes for the girls into the Women's Inspire Network?
Well, I was getting sales. I needed investment on Dragon's Den, and after Dragon's Den, I didn't get the money that was, they said, on the TV, because they do due diligence, or they didn't. I didn't get it anyway, so I just carried on anyway, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And a customer got redundancy, and I was selling loads of gift boxes, but I wasn't making a profit. So I was
Yeah.
selling them and posting
Yeah.
them out and working, and I wasn't making any money. So I needed to make it cheaper so I can make a profit. And so what I did was I shelved it. I said, you know what? I was sitting around the fire one night with the girls. I have 2 daughters, and we'd no coal left. And I said, right, I can't do this anymore to my daughters, because I knew I had the ability. I just, I hadn't got the money. So a customer bought it off me. So I put it up on my Facebook, look, I'm actually selling Funky Goddess if anyone wants it. And a
Oh,
customer actually bought the business off
so
me.
she bought the business. Yeah.
Yeah, she got redundancy. So it was great. So then I was headhunted then by someone who needed to build a community. And they said, oh, you're really good at building communities, and going to introduce you to someone who's looking for someone. And I was like, am I? Am I really good at building communities? And I didn't even
Yeah.
realize it. And then, so I had started building Irish Biz Party, which was I kind of started using Twitter for good. So like, I had about 5,000 followers at the time, and I created a hashtag for business owners to kind of chat with each other, and it just took off. And I used to do it every week. And then, but then I realized there was a lot of my customers, like if I was speaking at a conference or something like that, that a lot of women in business were coming up to me at the end. It was women that were talking to me. It was women
Yeah.
that wanted to buy my stuff. I was like, you know, so I started thinking there's no hashtag for women in business. And I felt really isolated too. And I kept thinking, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right decision? Just little things. And I was sitting on my own making these decisions when I really needed to talk to, you know, like I missed that coffee moment, you know, in work, you know, where you
Yeah.
can actually gather around the water cooler and have a chat or whatever. But there was things that I wanted to do and I wasn't sure if I was making the right decision. And I felt lonely, you know, building my empire from my box room here in Rosslare Harbour. And so I decided to create the Women's Inspire hashtag on Twitter. And then people loved it so much, I created a Facebook group. But then the Facebook group got really big and it was 8,000 members. And I was like, oh my God, I was exhausted because everyone was asking me things. And I was like, hang on a second, are you a businesswoman or not? So then I just created Women's Inspire Network, the website, all that. And, you know, I invested all my own money. I changed to Tweeting Goddess at this stage because when I had a hotel approached me here in Wexford, Whites of Wexford, and they said, look, you're really good at this Twitter thing. Could you show us how to use it? And so I showed her how to use it. And then she said, oh, would you not just run it for me? And I was like, okay. So I ran the account and I went, right. She said, well, how much is that? And when someone says, how much is that? It's like, that's a business, you know? And
Yeah.
so I said, oh, it's whatever it is. And then I started running the account and their clicks to sale went up 15%. And the head office of the hotel chain rang her and said, how did your clicks to sale go up to 15%? You know, how did you do that? And that was when I knew I had a talent and I knew I had a business.
Wow.
Because if the head office was asking, how did
Mm-hmm.
you know? So
Yeah.
I knew that I had something that could give value to customers. So then Creating Goddess was the new business. So I just changed it from Funky Goddess to Tweeting Goddess.
Brilliant. I
And
love that.
yeah, so that's really how it all happened. Sorry, I got a phone call coming in there.
No
Apologies.
problem. No problem.
Apologies to your viewers. I
No
thought I
problem.
had that
And
on
so what I'm
silent.
hearing is you had Twitter. So you were self-taught in Twitter.
Yeah,
So you were using Twitter when you set up the funky business and you kind
yeah,
of just grew an audience, as we call it now, organically. But what we mean,
yeah.
just naturally, you didn't have any strategies or you didn't buy any of those followers. And
No,
then the
God, no.
skills that you learned then grew into a business.
Yeah,
And people forget that that is often how businesses start. You know, we think, well, like, we can't really make it into a business because this is something I already do, and I don't have any piece of paper to prove that I'm like, you know, the top 10 tweeter in the world or whatever it may be.
no, I
There's,
just kept learning, but I did keep learning on YouTube. You know, don't underestimate the power of YouTube. You know,
yeah,
if you're stuck on a certain thing, just put in, how do you do this? And I'm
yes,
sure it'll be on YouTube. Like there are
absolutely,
lots of free videos, and I started following people I admired, like Ted Rubin, for example. I started following him because he talks about return relationship, because I could see a lot of people, if I was on Twitter, might ignore me, you know, because I didn't have enough followers. I was like, that's not very
yes,
nice. And then I remember going to a women's event actually, and it was like a big organization. And I remember going and I stayed the night because I had a stand for Funky Goddess. And I remember the next morning having breakfast on my own, because I went on my own, and the group of women were all sitting there laughing and all together. And I was sitting on my own, and the woman at the table knew who I was. She knew I was a startup. She knew she was from my area, and they
yeah,
didn't invite me over. And I just went, you know what? That is horrible. I am never
mm,
going to let a woman feel like that when they come to an event. Like, and
yes,
so that kind of started me thinking about the need for a different network, a different kind of network. And I knew
yes,
that online I could reach a global network, that I didn't have to travel. I didn't have time to go to travel. I didn't have time. I had a daughter who's deaf, and you know, she had special appointments and stuff like that. I couldn't go up and spend the day at a workshop. So I said,
yes,
what if I could actually get women together online? And that's where Women's Inspire really, the concept kind of really grew. And so now
yes,
we've 400 members. They pay 20 a month, and we do weekly webinars. We're actually also doing business with each other, which is really nice. But we support each other, and the
mm-hmm.
important thing I think that people feel is they feel included. They don't feel ignored, and I think that's what I wanted to achieve. And I
Yeah,
see lovely acts of kindness as well, and introductions being done, and You know, it's brilliant. And a lot of people are joining now because they're going, "Do you know what? This seems to work," you know, because people are actually learning stuff that, like a workshop, which would probably cost 50 to 100 euros, they're actually getting on the weekly webinars, you know, and
Yeah, as
it's about
part of
adding
the
value.
deal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's about adding value. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I suppose during lockdown, that whole support and training and upskilling would have been invaluable.
Oh, it was brilliant. And
Yeah,
I did put on purposely because, you know, I was trying to look ahead and say, well, people might cancel now because, you know, I was thinking ahead, you know, and I said,
yeah,
I better give more value because to keep the members and keep them, you know, it's about surprising and delighting your customers as well. And my members are my customers. So,
yeah.
you know, it's okay. It's like you're a member, Jenny, right? So, you know,
Hmm.
it's like when you ask me to do this interview, of course I'm going to do it. You're a member. You know, I will do
Yeah,
anything for my members that's going to help them. That's, and then you're helping me by bringing me to a new audience. We're actually helping each other, you know,
yes,
and that's what it's about. It's about
yeah,
helping each other.
yeah,
So that's why it's going to succeed, because like we have members from Canada, the US, the UK, New Zealand, Australia. Like it's just some of them would be quite quiet in the group, but they are there.
yeah,
You know, and you know, we actually have a member from India as well. You know, so there are people in there. Like it is a global network.
yes,
So it's just magical, the fact that, you know, when we meet, when we do have our conference, which is usually a real life conference once a year, it's
yes,
hugs, not handshakes. And Brian
yeah.
Fanzo also talks about that. Brian Fanzo is another guy I love. And it's hugs, not handshakes, because we already know each other, kind of,
Yeah,
you know.
even though you might have physically met. And there's a lot of activity in the group where members, I notice members get their own little physical network. So they arrange mornings together in their local area where people can come and have that physical connection. Obviously, that's not happening at the moment, but I'm looking forward to the next one in my area, actually meeting some of the faces that you've had support from and advice from through the network
Yeah.
online. So I'm really looking forward to that.
And it's not even that, like, I mean, I think a few people have had issues through the COVID, especially, and being able to ask those questions. And
Yeah,
nothing is a stupid question in the group, you know.
yeah,
This might seem like a stupid question, and it's not. Like, it's like, yeah, I
yeah,
remember asking that question too. Like, but it's
absolutely.
good that people more experience, and we're getting younger members, which is lovely. And the people with more experience are able to kind of help the younger. So we're actually creating new leaders as well.
Yeah.
So we're doing really important work, actually, you know.
Absolutely. And, you know, I suppose you can see that kind of filter down to entrepreneurs are younger as well. You know, they're not afraid to join networks and they're
Yeah.
braver. And one of the things I really notice is people aren't afraid to be vulnerable. You know, they're not afraid to say, you know, I've asked people for feedback, and even though I gave them free training material, they never came back to me. And what is it that I need to do? You know, the way I was brought up, you would never have said that in a women's network because you'd be so afraid of being judged.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I did try and create that kind of a safe place to ask
yeah,
these questions. And we've also had people, even me, when I got flowers the other day. I mean, I got emotional talking about that, you know, and
yeah,
it is a place where people can do that. And
yes,
you actually, when you do that, you actually get more of a connection with the women, because they go, oh my God, I felt like that last week. Don't worry,
yeah,
it's going to pass. Da, 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 da. And this is important. And I'm not saying that we're all criers. We're not. I'm just saying, like, you know, even men, you know, have these, like, the mental health of people in business, I'm quite concerned about it, because, you know, I've went off the wall last week, you know, with the
yeah,
stress and just wondering. And then I've seen several people in the group going, what's going to happen? And I don't know what to do. And now I have to do
yes,
this. And my landlord, you know, and all this, like, everyone's living through this uncertainty. So it's important to have people around you who understand, who you can tap into. And I have gone on the phone to members when I do see someone that's really suffering.
yeah,
And I do pick up the phone and I say, look, hiya, do you want to have a chat? You know, and
mm-hmm.
that's why, but then that's what makes it the group it is. It's because I lead by example as well. You know, like if I
Yes,
didn't show my vulnerability, people might be
absolutely.
afraid to show their vulnerability, you
Definitely.
know.
And I got that from you from the very first time I met you, you know, and that, I suppose that's what resonated with me, you know, that's what kind of drew me in because you were just so real. You weren't, you know, I had you on this sort of platter like, oh, wow, the tweeting goddess. And then I met you like, wow, this woman is just so real, you know.
Did you?
So
Thank
when
you.
you are real, it gives people the, like an introduction to be themselves around you, which is beautiful.
Ah, look, we're all human, and and there are people, look, don't get me wrong, there are people who can't stand me, who don't like my success, those people, the haters, and I just ignore them and just keep being the best.
Well,
Um
don't they
that's
say
really
that if you're liked by everybody, you should take a good look at yourself. You're doing something wrong,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
No,
And I mean, I am lucky, like I'm 12 years sober, so I'm on a program, so I do have that certain amount of awareness about how I make people feel.
yes,
And it's one of my favorite quotes, people won't remember what you said, they will remember how you made them feel. And that's another reason, like with Ted Rubin, like I like follow these people, like start
yes,
following people who you admire, and
yeah,
start having a look at what they're saying and listen to what they're saying and learn from them. Like, these leaders didn't get there by being idiots. They learned, like they did good stuff, they helped others, and only for people helped me along the way. um, Actually, it was funny. Actually, two of my main people who helped me the most were actually men, which is funny.
wow,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And Bill Yao and Ted Rubin. And when Ted Rubin, I was such a fan of his, I really wanted to meet him. I was like, oh, how could I get him to Ireland? Because I loved the way he spoke on the stage. And I knew he'd blow their minds if he came. And I said, how can I get him over? So I created a social media summit, which is all about social media. And I created this event, and I got sponsorship, and I got Ted Rubin to come to Ireland, and he'd never even
wow,
been to Ireland ever
yeah,
before.
yeah.
So Oprah and Michelle Obama, I have them on my radar.
I love
Someday,
it. I love it. Yeah, yeah. You
I'd
got to
love
dream
someone.
big, definitely.
I'd
It's
love
about,
someone like that. Actually, interestingly enough, now I'm not into politics, but I watched the documentary about Hillary Clinton the other night, and I was actually really impressed by her. Like,
yeah,
it's amazing. Like, these women have been leaders, and like, we need to help other leaders be leaders.
yeah,
Like, so like, we need to be pushing each other out into the limelight, because I don't mean pushing, but we need to be celebrating these women, because like, we're helping the next generation. My daughter's in the network. She's 20. Well, she's
yes.
21 last night. But
Wow.
she's has her own business. She's a
Yes,
lash technician. So we are influencing. They're not going to tell us that, of course, but they are we are influencing our daughters and the next generation by by,
absolutely.
by leading the way.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And we go back to lockdown for a moment, Samantha. I suppose this is a question I'd love to know. If you were to look at, I suppose the lessons that, this whole experience has taught you, what will you be leaving in lockdown that you won't be bringing forward to, our new way of being, the new normal, as they call it?
I see, lockdown, I already worked from home. I
Yes.
already don't go out. I don't
Mm-hmm.
go out to nightclubs and pubs and all.
Yeah.
Um, it kind of didn't really make much difference to me.
Yes.
Um, I suppose I will appreciate Ireland more and my hairdresser more.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The hairdressers are like definitely. I can't
Gold.
wait. I'm waiting on the news today to see if they're going to reopen.
Me too. But
And
like,
come
this
here,
is
that's not just because I'm a woman either. I mean, my husband and my son are the same.
same. Well, this is
Yeah.
it, you see, and I am going to appreciate these people much more. I actually appreciate the people in Super Value much more now as well. And I
Yes.
make sure
Yes.
that I thank the girl, and I make
Yeah.
sure that I make, ha-
Absolutely.
things like that, and my pharmacist.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely be taking that with me, a bit more gratitude, a
Yeah.
bit more
Yeah.
appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my garden is lovely now, and it's painted
Yes.
like Ballinamore now, because my husband was bored and he painted everything with all
I
the paint
love
we
it.
had. Um, but yeah, I'm going to, I think, appreciate things more and nature
Yes.
more. Well, I
Yeah.
love nature anyway. I love nature anyway,
Yeah.
but
We
definitely,
just kind of went in on another level first, didn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think definitely, and remind myself that, to take some time out for myself.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
probably the
that's one
biggest
of the things
thing.
I recognized. As much as I was kind of in a chilled out space before lockdown, I didn't realize how much running around I did, picking up the grandkids, doing the
You
school
know
runs,
what?
and that was a joy to live for a
I,
while.
I don't miss driving up to Dublin for that meeting that could have been an email.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what you'd be leaving behind. You'd be I
No
suppose more
more meetings
selective
that could
about those
be emails.
drives.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
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 Make it worth my while, as they say. So what have we got to look forward to from Samantha Kelly or the Women's Inspire Network towards the end of this year or in 2021?
Well, we have actually our conference on the 21st of October. Now, even if that doesn't happen, I'm going to take it online.
Great.
Um, so there will be things like that. I have the Win Show every Tuesday night at 9:30. So I'm interviewing various people on that. Um, that's the Women's Inspire Network. Tweeting Goddess, I mean, my 6-step program, I'm actually not going to be managing stuff anymore. I'm actually going to be just coaching. So one-to-one,
Okay.
6-week call,
Yes.
6-week program, because that's what's working really well for my clients. And I'm
Yes.
seeing them shine, and it's lovely to see them shine. So I'm going to do a lot more of that. I'm also involved with ISME. I'm the Back to Business campaign, and I'm going to be doing an interview with them. So yeah, mostly the I like doing the online shows, and I use a thing called StreamYard to do that. So you can record it and go live into your Facebook and your Twitter. I must show it to you
Yeah, you must
at
show
the
it to me
same
because yeah.
time. And it's really cool, especially with my Twitter following. It's really important I can go live into Twitter, you know,
Yes, that's
someone.
what I'm struggling with the Gen Talks. Yeah.
I'll
So
sort that for you.
yes,
We'll
thank you
sort
so much.
that.
Another business problem sorted. Thanks, Sam.
I will sort, yeah, I'll show you that. It's brilliant. But like, this is it, you see, and this is what we can do. We can help each other, because I know that this would be better for you as well. So I can show you that platform, and there's a free version, so you don't even have to pay for it. So
Brilliant.
these are the little tips that you pick up as you go along, and that
Absolutely.
some people would keep to themselves, you know,
Yes.
whereas I
Yeah.
believe in sharing our knowledge.
Yeah.
When you share your knowledge, it doesn't mean, okay, well, Jen's never going to work with me. Jen probably more likely to work with me if I share my knowledge, you know, because then it's
Absolutely.
making her feel, well, do you know what, maybe she can help me, you know, and that's how it works. So
Absolutely.
share your knowledge, show you're the expert in what you do, show your
Mm-hmm.
product is the best or whatever, and
Yes.
people will buy from you.
Yeah. And when you do better, I do better. When I do better, you do better. We do better. Definitely.
Exactly.
And just to finish, have you, I suppose when I heard you say Ismay there, I thought I heard the word Disney. And it's funny because it was kind of a question in my head for you. Have you any plans for TV or, and like I see you doing a business mentor and TV series, Sam. It just popped into my head this morning. I said, I must ask you about that because you have your own show that you record.
I do, but yeah, I'm not, look, it's very hard to get into TV. And anyway, I can create my own show like I have, which is half
Yes. So
nine.
you've
And
made
so
your
the
own
Win
show.
Show, I know it's Tweeting Goddess, really, it's my Twitter account, but I'm kind of trying to attach the two, because actually with my clients doing my 6-step program, for example, I can give them access to my Women's Inspire Network as part of working with me. So it's
Yes.
actually, they kind of go hand in hand.
Okay.
And the Women's Inspire Network is a way of people to get a bit of me, but not,
Yes.
you know, they can't afford my 6-step program, but they get a piece of me, which is kind of better than nothing, you know. So
Absolutely. I'm sure that's
so
how Oprah started. She, when they didn't want to buy her show, she made her own channel. You know what I
exactly,
mean? It's good enough for Oprah.
exactly. Oh gosh, that
Well,
would
we'll
be
be
the
seeing
dream,
more
all
of you.
right. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Look, you know, I think, and I like to give the limelight to the person who deserves the limelight, but might not necessarily get a chance normally.
Okay.
So I like the underdog.
Giving people a platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for you giving me this platform today and
You're
taking part in
welcome.
my interview. And I really look forward to your next webinar and getting involved in that. I'll be looking at the recording from last night now during the week. And of course, I can't wait for the annual summit. Hopefully
Yeah.
we'll get together physically, but who knows? Either way, we'll get it online.
Look, it's going to, I'm investigating already. Like, I mean,
Yes.
I'm on the ball. I'm investigating 2 platforms already about doing the summit,
Yes.
doing the event online. But like, you know, you can't beat real life. And there's lots of stuff going on. It's about standing out, and people will turn up if you're giving value. So value, 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 helping, helping,
Yes.
helping, give, give, give. Yeah.
Great. Great. Okay. Well, listen, Samantha, have a great day. Have a fabulous weekend. And thank you so much for taking part in my interview today.
You're
Take
very
care.
welcome. Thank you. My pleasure.
No problem. Thanks.